crave. Under neon lights we take a stand. Knights and wizards across the land.
Good morning, tabletop role-playing game community of the Tube of Yous. It is your favorite weirdo, the OGGM, coming to you from Site B on Monday around 8 o'clock in the morning. It is cold, like 50 degrees in Southern California, by the beach, 50 degrees. It's Monday, which means it's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game sales and bundles of PDFs. These are always PDFs 90% of the time. Occasionally there's a physical, which I'll let you know if there is one, but usually they're PDFs. And remember, because they are PDFs, you're downloading things, and if you're going to download things from the weird wilds of the interweb, please double check for viruses and malware and things like that. As a victim of multiple identity thefts, not just one, but several, yeah, it's not fun. So please. All right, starting with this week's freebies, and it looks like we've got a picture of some Fallout fun. The new series on Amazon should be done, so we should get to see it soon. Modifius. Oh, yeah. Modifius expands the miniature war game and role-playing rules for Fallout miniatures. This is the In Sheep's Clothing Rules Pack. This gets you rules for the Sheep Squatch, and Imposter Sheep Squatch, and the Ares, as well as some unit cards, Vault Tech profiles, faction cards, and new scenario. So there's a Sheep Squatch. I know nothing about the video game, but hey, that sounds cool. Half man, half sheep. And it's free. Kobold's Press has a freebie bundle called Tales of the Valiant Encounter Tracker. This is compatible with 5e, of course. This tracker breaks any encounter down into its most important details so you can keep track of the complex moving parts like traps waiting to be triggered, timed events, NPC abilities, actions, reactions, things like that. Huckleberry Quick Draw Edition is a quick start for the newest entry into the Weird West genre that combines folklore fantasy with the Western genre. The flask playing unique system has a fixed target number with an attribute and skill dice to determine the result with a bounty system, so player chooses what monsters they hunt down. This version comes with streamlined rules, pre-generated characters, and an introductory adventure. So if you're looking for some wonderful Weird West fun, Huckleberry Quick Draw Edition. I'm currently working on rewriting the rules for my Weird West game that I made last year. Arcane Sorcery has a pair of OSR adventures out. First up, for Shadowdark, we have a Very Merry Shadowween, which sends a low-level party to explore an island, which rises hundreds of gangly hands out of the ground every year. Ooh, that sounds spooky. Of course, if you don't live on the island, you're fine. And if the hands can't leave the island, you're fine. So once a year, these creepy hands crawl out of the ground in the island and just grab anybody that happens to be passing by, but just don't go there. Pretty sure by now people would know not to go to that island because it's haunted by ground hands that grow like corn. Yeah, I need to know more. What is my incentive for going to the island? We also have the Little Wars of Hosbury Manor. This is also for OSR, where a low-level party seeks to cure a disease for an illness that is plaguing the village, putting them in the path of the individuals who don't want you to cure the disease because they caused it. Maybe the disease is the hand thing. So if I can combine those two together, and then you're inhabitants of the island, and this is the first time the disease is struck, and now people are just, instead of measles, it's hands. Instead of chickenpox, it's hands. So every time your body's just covered with hands. Okay, it sounds a little goofy, but it could be horrible, I guess. Scion fans of Scion. Do you remember Scion? That was a role-playing game from the Vampire the Masquerade people who explored the whole American gods idea. All the characters were children of the gods. The Percy, what's the Percy something in the Lightning Thief thing? Anyway, this is from Paul McKenna. We have for Scion, we have the Healer's Guide to Ascension. This is the 3-part adventure for healers and healer types in that world. For Vossen from Alistair Smith, we have Something Fishy on Fife. It's based in Scotland, where there's some destruction and stuff like that, and the investigators have to go to figure out what's going on this small little island of Scotland and why there's all these disasters. Over on Dungeon Masters Guild, Christopher Hamill has Infernal Runes Expanding Chains of Asmodeus. Chains of Asmodeus was considered by many to be the best 5e adventure in a long time, made by an independent last year. This adds more depth to the adventure by adding some new stuff like devils and runes and infernal script for the party to decipher and stuff like that. Of course, it's Dungeon Masters Guild, so yeah, thank you. Over at Storyteller's Vault, we have Final Posts for Vampire the Masquerade. This is by Yolam Lev. Yolam Lev. So he seeks to streamline some of the rules in Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition in the hopes of making the game run faster and easier to learn for players coming into it for the first time. That's nice. I mean, the rules are a little clunky, and it can be imposing to be a first-time player coming into the world of Vampire and see these thick tombs and then try and go through it and make sense of, okay, where's the character creation rules? No, that's more story. Okay, where's the character? No, that's more. No, okay, there's some character creation rules. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, Yolam. I think that's something Vampire needs is a introductory baby steps into it because, I mean, the system's great, but it is also very clunky. Lightning round, we've got a whole bunch of new freebies over at Drive-Thru, adding to your favorite games. Usually these are maps or expansions of existing character classes, adding new subclasses to your fighter, thief, whatever. So we got like 15 today, a lot of maps and stuff like that. It was always fun. Great way to find a map if you are looking for one and help an artist. Sales. Drive-Thru has a Spring into Adventure sale. Spring into Adventure. This has got a whole bunch of adventures in it for Spelljammer, Dragonlance, Keys to the Golden Vault, Waterdeep, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Baldur's Gate, Ascension to Avernus, and many more in the bundle, plus discounts for other stuff. And additionally, Roll20 VTT versions of all the things I just said. So basically a whole bunch of adventures for D&D, marked down to 25%. Demi-Plane and Roll20 announced this week Fallout, the post-nuclear role-playing game, will synchronize with Nexus and Roll20, meaning a purchase of one unlocks the content of the other. So you get to hold deep discounts on anything that's been made for Fallout. $35.50 for the core rulebooks, $100 for the bundle. So if you download this, it'll have the VTT files for Demi-Plane, Roll20, and Nexus. And then you've got, of course, have to have one of those 3 VTTs. Then you've got to install them in one of your VTT of choice and hope it works and doesn't crash your computer. And there's no viruses on there. If you're a fan of the Marvel Multiverse RPG that came out a couple years ago, we've got a bundle for Roll20 and Nexus. It's called Into the Spider-Verse. So it, I guess, converts all the characters from the, was it 3 animated Spider-Verse cartoons now? Plus the whole Spider-Verse storyline from Marvel, which is very bizarre, for $35. Fragging Unicorn Games, you win this week's best name for a game company. Has some stuff coming out for Realms of Pugmire, Hacking Good Doggos, Cats of Cthulhu, Strays, and lots of other animal-based role-playing games. Maybe even a Creeks and Crawdads and Bunny and Burrows. So this is called the Tails, Paws, and Claws bundle. And it's got several different games from several different publishers, including Fragging Unicorn Games, that are all based around animals or anthropomorphic animals. We've got a cyberpunk map bundle for $35 from Solution Maps in all sorts of different formats, including 1080p and UHD 4K. The P stands for pixels. Arcadia Creations has a bundle of urban maps for any urban type game. This includes just basically, maps of buildings and areas you'd find around your normal modern day place, like towns, towers, cities, parks, skyscrapers, stuff like that. $15. And if you're looking for some more fantasy maps, the Tallest, that's the name of the company, just Tallest, has the Ancestors Festival Megapap. Maybe somebody's a fan of the Invader Zim. My tallest. So you pick who's in charge basically by who's the tallest? Yeah, don't you? Remember the Tallest from Invader Zim? Ancestor Festival Megapack grabs 9 map pack containing 8 cardinal directions and the center making one massive map of a town celebrating a festival. So $9 for a big map of a town that you got to print out and put together. That one could probably be written better because I don't really know what you're telling me. All right, moving on to bundles. It looks like we got a Dragonlance bundle for $18. All the Dragonlance books. We've still got the GoFundMe going for our good friend Daryl Motz, the man who originally brings us all these lists. Thank you, Daryl, for bringing us these lists every week. And thank you, Ian World, for letting me copy them. Humble Bumble has a bundle from Kobold Press called the Heroic Horde of 5e Power Bundle. Go Power Bundle. It's got a whole bunch of 5e stuff. Highest, most popular one is $25. Gives you 44 books of PTFs plus VTT licenses for the same 44 books. So most of the stuff that Kobold has made over the years for 5e, Kobold Press considered to be the #1 makers for 5e adjacent type product for the past 11 years. So yeah. And this goes to Make-A-Wish. We've got a Delta Green bundle from the people who are doing Delta Green this year. This is got the RPG, Delta Green fiction, and VTT files. $25 is the most popular pledge. Looks like it's got about 58 different titles, including fiction, books, type of things, VTT files, and everything that has been made for the Delta Green RPG. Yeah, thank you for you Delta Green fans. And this is direct relief. Wizards of the Coast has a Dragonlance bundle because, they've royally fucked over Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. So now here's a bundle where they can royally fuck over Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman even more. Will Margaret and Tracy get any of the money from this? I hope so. They deserve it. Anyways, it looks like it's pretty much everything that's ever been made for Dragonlance that at least Wizards has the control over. These are ebooks, so you need to have a EPUB type reader to open them. This goes to help out library charities. Libraries in desperate need of money as always. Kobold Press is still doing their Pathfinder compatible mega bundle, featuring a ton of stuff that they've made with Frog God and Kobold Press for Pathfinder, but could be used with any 5e. 143 titles if you get the big bundle for $45. It goes to support the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. So yeah, cool. Goodman Games has released their Mega Dungeon Mega Bundle for DCC and 5e, $40. Gives you a whole bunch of stuff, including physical copies of Sailors of the Starless Sea and Against the Thieves Guild. If you don't want the physical copies and just want the PDFs, it's $18, gets you all 21 titles, including the VTT tokens and map packs. I've been through Sailors of the Starless Sea. It's a pretty fun dungeon. And there is an actual mega dungeon in here, I think at least one. Steamforged Game has their Iron Kingdoms collection out for $30. This includes all 65 Iron Kingdom books, plus VTT tokens, map sets, and more. $30. And this goes to support children's charities as well. Iron Kingdom's wonderful setting. A lot of fun if you like steampunk. So obviously I would shout out the Iron Kingdoms, the Pathfinder, the Dragonlance. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the Dragonlance one because, you know, obviously if you're a fan of Dragonlance and haven't had a chance to read the books, this is a great way to introduce people to it. It's relatively cheap, $18, but it's also Wizards of the Coast finding yet another way to screw over Margaret and Tracy. So, yeah, mixed feelings. Delta Green, A lot of map packs this week. A lot of love for Fallout this week. I guess the new series is coming up really soon, so maybe that's why. So there you go. Links to everything I've mentioned down in the description below if you want to pick them up, including links to my product, which are marked down as well if you haven't had a chance to pick those up yet. Thank you again, as always, Ian World, for making these links available to us every week, because when I tried to do this on my own, I was awful at it. So yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate that you let us copy these every week. Till next time, I am your humble guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense that's known as the OGGM. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you momentarily. See ya.
Roll the dice and ride the wave. Quest and dragons, the news we crave. Under neon lights we take a stand. Knights and wizards across the land.